What's up, everybody? This is the Act Man here, and today I found a very interesting article, and I thought we all deserved a good laugh along with some valuable insight. So this article I found through Twitter is about arguably the greatest video game of all time, Ocarina of Time. Having the highest rating on Metacritic, you know, it's a legendary game. If you don't know about it, what are you doing? But so it appears we've gotten some new insight into this legendary video game. Let's check it out. Is Ocarina of Time a gay coming? Oh, I got you good, You thought this was gonna be a good article, didn't you? Thought it was gonna provoke some emotions? Wrong. There's a lot of things to discuss, but let's have a listen. Have you ever played a game and thought to yourself, man, this is a fantastic allegory for budding sexuality and what it means to be true to yourself? Me neither. Yeah, I love the awareness here. It's like, yeah, this article's kind of bullshit. So it starts off, in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, puberty hits Link in much the same way it hits many of us fleshy humans, suddenly at an inopportune time, and with the force of a freight train. He pulls the Master Sword, and the next thing he knows, it's 7 years later. He's swimming in hormones, covered in hair, and alone with a strange old man, and someone must have changed his clothes while he sleeps. So we'll get to this point as we read on, but you're probably going to be wondering why and why? What could possibly be the point of bringing in this socio-homoerotic message or fantasy into one of the greatest games of all time? What could be the point? Who would write this down and post it to the internet? What sort of person would do that? You might be thinking, and we'll get to that. Now, truth be told, I don't know if this is satire, if this is just like a bogus troll article, because if it is, you got me good. You got me good. I thought, you know, a real human being actually believes some of this stuff in this article, but if it's not, I will acknowledge that possibility that this is satire and it's just a troll. I certainly hope it is. Alright, before we go any further, I can tell you honestly, I respect your passion to sit down, write articles, and share your thoughts with the world. Trust me, I know. I do that myself. I don't want to come across in this video like you should give this up and quit doing the things you like to do in life. All I'm really saying is this article blows. I want you to get better. You know, it's kind of crazy. With all the support you, my audience, have given me over the years, sometimes I might forget how easily mob mentalities and witch hunts can form when a person speaks to their audience about something and criticizes it. Lest I suffer the same fate as Leafy, let's all remember, people, that beneath the article, the book, the movie, the YouTube video, and yes, even the YouTube comments, there is an individual behind them. Now I have a problem with this sentence here because you're trying to insert this socio-political commentary into Ocarina of Time, and you missed an opportunity. You should have written, he pulls the Master Sword, just like he's going to be pulling on other things. Someone must have changed his clothes while he slept. That sucks, guy, but look on the bright side. At least you don't have to deal with menstrual cycles. My fucking god. Yeah, Link's biggest concern, day in, day out, is the menstrual cycle. You know that thing that women go through once a month? The menstrual cycle? Yeah, Link is just blessing his stars. He doesn't have to deal with that. The menstrual cycle. Why are we talking about this in relation to Ocarina of Time? The menstrual cycle? You know, when I wake up first thing in the morning, what I want to see is an article that can relate Ocarina of Time with the menstrual cycle. Yes, that is on the top of my bucket list, and thank God for Adzuken, because he acquiesced my request. That's not the last curveball that Hyrule has to throw at him either. Throughout his quest to save the world, he's surrounded by the ladies. His childhood friend, a woman from a tribe exclusive to women, fairies who thrust their angular cleavage at him whenever he beckons, and even a fish princess. A fish princess! Yet despite this, he keeps it in his pants like a champ. What the fuck are you writing right now? What? Yes, because Ocarina of Time, from its inception, was all about sexuality and exploring sexuality with fairies and fishes. It was about, various forms of bestiality, and that was the whole point of the story. That's what it was all about. All that adventuring and going into caves and all that time spent trying to track down the sages, time travel, defeating Ganondorf, saving Zelda. No, Ocarina of Time is all about sticking your dick in other things, or refraining from doing so, because Link doesn't want to be a toxic masculine dude, does he? Maybe it's because Link is just too focused on his quest, or maybe he's a gentleman and doesn't treat every woman he bumps into as a potential conquest. There we go. Predicted it. Fucking predicted the toxic masculinity bullshit. How about this idea, Adzukin? Maybe Ocarina of Time isn't about sexuality at all. Maybe it's about adventure. Maybe it's about good music. Maybe it's about great gameplay. Maybe it's about exploration. Did you play the game? Did you ever touch a controller in your life? That's cute, but we're talking about a teenager who has just discovered his body. His magical coma has deprived him of the humbling, awkward phase of his adolescence, so concepts like respect and self-control are foreign to him. You're talking about Link! You're talking about Link! A blank slate character that is there so you can immerse yourself in his shoes in the world of Hyrule. You project your own feelings onto him. Is this what you're projecting? Like, is this what anybody thought about when they played Ocarina of Time? Wow, Link's really respectful to women. Wow, he doesn't treat every single woman like a potential conquest. What a gentleman. Or are they more concerned with the fate of Hyrule? Are they more concerned with the Triforce, with stopping Ganondorf, with finding the sages? Are they more concerned with having fun with the goddamn game? Or are they concerned with how Link treats women? These types of articles, man, they kind of make me go crazy a little bit. The only thing he knows is he's got pork steak to peddle and the meat market is open for business. Good lord. Oh, you have talent as far as writing goes, but why are you wasting it with this shit concept? Why are you wasting it? Instead, for a large portion of the game, Link's attention is held by another mysterious stranger, Sheik. Oh, I know where this is going. While Link rarely seems too broken up when his lady friends become forcibly martyrized into an eternity as a magical conduit, he finds himself constantly searching the lingering smoke after Sheik pulls a disappearing act. The most intimate moments that Link spends with another character throughout the course of his adventure are with this stranger. Now remember that as far as Link knows, for most of the game Sheik is a man. You know where this is going, don't you? It isn't until the end of the adventure that he learns, spoiler alert, Sheik was Princess Zelda in drag all along. Well, that explains why Link's heart went aflutter every time his best bro plucked his harp. It's not fucking drag. Sheik is not dressed in drag. Sheik is dressed as a ninja. This is not cross-dressing, at least in my eyes. I love how he says Link's heart went aflutter. Like, where are you getting this from? Where are you pulling this romantic involvement with Sheik from? Because Link doesn't speak at all, okay? You know this, right? And especially if you're talking about the N64 version of the game, there's not much facial acting in it at all. So the fact that you could draw this conclusion that Link was attracted to Sheik is utterly baffling to me, because there's nothing to support that. Now that all the confusion is cleared up, Link can get back to all that manly heterosexual stuff he likes to do, like fishing and drinking milk and, yeah, racing horses. That's a manly thing to do. Link is such a bro, dude. He's such a man. Have you ever thought that maybe adventure isn't exclusively relegated to straight people? Maybe try Dragon Age games or Mass Effect, play through as a gay character. Oh, you won't be excluded from adventure there. This part really bugs the shit out of me. The closest Link ever gets to romance in Ocarina of Time is during one of the end cutscenes, where he shares a tender moment with Zelda before she sends him screaming back to his childhood with only the vicious sting of rejection to show for it. That at least proves that Link is straight, right? Not necessarily. Shut your fucking mouth. You do not understand Ocarina of Time one bit. That is not a romance scene, dude. You can't take one of the most powerful video game endings and try to turn it into some sexually motivated act where Link is upset because he didn't get to fuck Zelda at the end of the game. The vicious sting of rejection, dude. Link probably wanted to live his childhood like a normal kid. That's probably what he wanted. I don't think he gave a shit about going on a date with Zelda. I think he wanted to save her because he is a gentleman. It gets worse. It gets worse in this article, ladies and gentlemen. Now, don't think I'm just picking on this one article because look at this shitty writing and this poor message that has no basis. Look at this shit argument. No. It's important to criticize. Criticize writing, criticize articles, criticize me, criticize videos, because that's how people get better. When you come through and write an article about Ocarina of Time, and you try to insert this socio-political homoerotic message, but you have nothing from the game to support that at all, yes, you deserve to be criticized. But don't go witch hunting any of that stupid shit. When you're a hormone-filled teen, homosexuality can be a pretty confusing situation. Despite where your body's sexual compass is pointing, you're pressured from all sides to conform to heteronormativity. Heteronormativity? We're talking about Legend of Zelda? Ocarina of Time? Right, this is what we're talking about? Heteronormativity. Your parents often impress upon you that your goal in life should be to meet a nice member of the opposite sex to start a family with. Your peers often ridicule those with tastes that don't conform with the norms, and it can be difficult to find others who would openly admit to having alternative preferences. No, my parents impressed upon me, at least, to get a fucking job, make money, and be successful. That to them is more important. No, also my peers don't ridicule my taste in women. In fact, if any of us has a girlfriend or even a boyfriend, we'd be like, fuck yeah, dude, hope the relationship is going well. No, we don't ridicule. I don't know what planet you're living on, but as far as my friend group goes, we're all pretty accepting. We want the best for each other. How many young people do you think find themselves in heterosexual relationships despite their raging gayness? Raging gayness. This article is raging gayness. And it's like, I almost completely forgot we were talking about a video game, and Zelda, Link, Ocarina of Time. But this is gonna come back around and relate to Ocarina of Time's gay coming-of-age story. Anecdotally, it seems like a lot. Some people figure this out quickly and get with the gay. Others find themselves spending a lifetime trying to force a square peg into a circular hole. What does this have to do with Link? What does this have to do with Link? This struggle to find your sexuality, to be comfortable with it in public in the modern day, what does this have to do with Ocarina of Time? Tell me that. How does this coincide with the themes of Ocarina of Time? How is this thesis of yours supported by the story and the characters and the dialogue of Ocarina of Time? I think that's much more important than whining and complaining about gay people trying to find their place in the world. Link's discovery of Sheik's true gender would probably not have initially changed much, aside from what he sees between the legs of the person he fantasizes about. In what instance, in what scene do we see Link fantasizing in that way about Zelda? We don't. It's a kid's game. A game made for kids, made for everyone. Link isn't thinking about penises and vaginas, you sick bastard. If anything, it would have left him relieved that he didn't need to address the issue of his sexual identity. I think Link is a little bit more concerned with fucking staying alive. I think he's more worried about the 7 years of his life that he lost because he had to take on this big challenge for the sake of the realm, for the world. I think he's more concerned with that than if Sheik has a penis or not. He could sweep Zelda off her feet, carry her into the sunset, and start their happily ever after. As far as he'd have known, that's the way it's supposed to be. This is the worst part of this article because it completely disregards the point of the ending, which in my opinion is one of the greatest endings and just most emotional endings in video game history, and probably what left people with such a great impression of the game after they completed it. Ocarina of Time is not a romance story. It's not supposed to be that way. In fact, you use this line just as the end uses it, without considering what it actually means. The happily ever after is not Link and Zelda getting married and fucking like rabbits. The happily ever after is Link gets those lost years of his life back. This is a situation where Link was thrust into the role of hero, without much say of his own. And in order to combat Ganondorf, the great threat to the world, he had to accelerate his aging. He had to skip 7 years of his life. You're advocating for an ending with the subtext of romance, but what's much more impactful is the fact that we get to feel good about Link getting those years back. It's like this situation was totally out of his control, yet he had to step up to the plate. He was forced to. There was no decision he could have made to just stay where he was. He had to go forward. Maybe part of him wants to speak with Zelda some more, or get to know each other better. But it's already a happily ever after ending, alright? As anyone who has played through the game knows, that's not how it went. Instead, he was returned to his own time period to live out puberty in the emotionally traumatizing way that nature intended. And now you're trying to spin this as like, oh no, he didn't get the girl. He's obviously, you know, he's so heterosexual, you know. The fact that he didn't get the girl, no, maybe this is just a gay coming-of-age story. It's like bull fucking shit. You have nothing. You have absolutely nothing to support your argument or your thesis. You're pulling shit out of your ass. Perhaps this way he would have the chance to discover his sexuality instead of finding himself in an unfulfilling marriage and the yawning emptiness within. Let's finish this up. I'm so done with this article. Do I honestly think that Nintendo intentionally inserted this subtext into Ocarina of Time? Absolutely not. Nor do I believe that Link needs to be an explicitly gay character. No, Nintendo did not insert this subtext. You inserted this subtext with no backing, with no evidence, with nothing to point to, and that's the problem, people. The beauty of interpreting stories is you can look at something and point to it and say, hey, I think this supports that idea. And other people will be like, yeah, you know, I can see that. Maybe I don't agree that's how the story was played out, but I can definitely see that. And of course I'll just bring up Dark Souls because it's the first thing that comes to my mind when it comes to interpretive stories. The idea that Solaire was Gwyn's son had a lot of things you could point to, a lot of evidence, a lot of items placed in specific spots, the location of Solaire in the sunlight altars. You could point to these things and make an argument. Doesn't mean it was true, but you made an argument. This does not. You're pointing to things that just aren't there. And that's why I take such offense with this, because this is the greatest video game of all time. One of. Definitely top 10 or top 5. And to just take a shit all over it and try to insert this homoerotic message about Link's gay coming-of-age story, that just borderline offends me. It gets me upset, definitely. Romance has always been downplayed in the Zelda series. It's frequently hinted at, but overt depiction is rare. And that's kind of the way we all like it, because it allows us to imagine, you know, what their relationship might be. It shifts the focus from that romance into the adventure, the core gameplay. I think that's much better, that it is subdued. Link is a blank slate character, his thoughts should be your own, and any actions that he takes that you yourself wouldn't under the same circumstances is a betrayal. Not really. This idea is also pretty stupid because I wouldn't want to go forward 7 years in time and forfeit those years of my life. I'd much prefer to sit and wait it out. Yeah, so the idea that a character in any story and in video games have to perfectly align with every single person that plays them, it's not only outlandish, but it's downright retarded. There are lots of characters that can be used to tell a story in video games, but when dealing with blank slate characters, the ability to project your own sexuality onto them can be more important than even their gender or general appearance, and the inclusion of compulsory scenes of romance can ruin that illusion. What are you trying to argue? You want these scenes of romance in here, but then you're saying this would ruin the immersion for people who don't sexually identify with Link. Why are you trying to sexualize Link? He's a fucking kid, dude. A kid and a teenager. Why are you sexualizing him? What? Menstrual cycle. You don't need to project your own sexuality onto Link, onto any character for that matter. If you want to play Mass Effect, play Dragon Age, they allow that sort of thing. Encourage it. And this is probably my biggest gripe with this article, is Storytelling is a receptive medium. When someone's telling you a story, you listen to it, you learn. Imagine if Grandpa was telling you about his adventures in World War II, and he's telling you a story. Would you be like, nah, wait, let me interrupt you there, Grandpa, in the middle of the invasion of Normandy. Let me just interrupt you. What Marines in this story reflect my sexuality? Because I need that validation. I need to be represented in every single story ever fucking told. Now, if we're talking criticism and reviews and we want to improve things and we give suggestions and ideas for how to improve this story, that's a different story. But that's not what this article is saying. This article is saying it's important that I can feel like Link is gay if I'm gay. And to this I respond, is your sexuality the most important thing that matters to you? Because it shouldn't be. Because you should be who you are and just not give a fuck. Alright? Enjoy things for what they are. And don't try to twist and gnarl the branches of these grand epic stories into something that only you would enjoy. I mean, if you're straight, try to imagine Link sharing a passionate kiss with Darunia. Maybe you wouldn't be completely repulsed if you're open-minded, but you probably wouldn't consider it your optimal Zelda romance. No, I wouldn't. The reason they don't explicitly show this romance is just like you said, but don't seem to understand, Link is a blank slate character. You can't characterize him too much, or else you ruin the immersion. This article is almost done, and if your sexuality doesn't align with what your character is expressing, it can make things uncomfortable, regardless of how accepting you are of it. It's not my character. Link is not my character. I am playing as Link. Link is a creation of someone else. You make it seem like gay people and trans people and members of the LGBT community are just constantly thinking about their sexuality and projecting it onto every medium they absorb. They're reading a book. Oh, is this character gay? Oh, I guess he's not. Oh, I can't read this. It doesn't represent me. Oh, what? Oh, I'm playing Breath of the Wild? What? There's not a gay sex scene? Oh, man, I can't play this. That's not how the people are, okay? Storytelling is about sharing perspectives and getting you to think about things you wouldn't normally think about, putting you in the shoes of someone that's different than you. And it's just implausible that you could have a character that could be lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and all these things, because if he's not every single one of those sexualities, well, people are going to get left out and feel misrepresented, and then that's going to make them uncomfortable. Bullshit. Gay people, especially those who are still trying to figure out which hole their peg fits into, are often taught to be ashamed of their sexuality, yada yada yada. Maybe one day Link will realize that he doesn't have to keep chasing princesses, address those feelings he kept buried, and find himself wrapped in the loving arms of a friendly moblin. This article was god-awful, and I hope you got some comedy out of it from my responses. It's just... the reason I picked this article is because it's almost insinuating, and alongside that Battlefield 5 developer's response, it's like this growing idea that if I play a video game, the main character has to be just like me. I have to play as someone who looks exactly like me, who thinks like me, who has the same interests in me as me. They need to take my own personality and photocopy it and then put it in the game. Because otherwise I'm gonna feel uncomfortable. It's this growing idea that I hate, because these people are closing their eyes to new ideas, to broadening their horizons, to storytelling. Imagine what you could have accomplished by looking at Ocarina of Time's story and writing a dissertation or a paper on that, and what sort of important themes you think it presents, instead of this homoerotic crap. Don't take this for a second that this is a smear against LGBT people, or anybody for that matter. And also, if you're gonna write an article, if you're gonna make an argument, if you're gonna, talk about this idea that hasn't been talked about, or you're gonna point to something, have a fucking argument. Have something you can bring up and say, this supports my thesis. This supports what I'm saying. When you write an article and your idea is completely baseless, without any evidence, without no events, no dialogue, nothing to support it, you should probably reconsider what it is you're writing and why. This article got me fired up, man. Fired up. But hope you enjoyed the video. What are your thoughts? I'd really like to see this become a meme. Is blank blank a gay coming of age story? Is Mein Kampf a gay coming of age story? Is BioShock a gay coming of age story? Is Warcraft 3 a gay coming of age story? Post your gay coming of age stories in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe for more awesome content. Alright everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace!